Hello everyone, my name is Theresa Ikpeyong. So we've been on a series which I called Chronicles of a Mature Single Christian Lady. And I hope you've been enjoying the stories so far. I've shared some stories and today I'm going to talk about a different story. As usual, I coined the name of the story as I go along. The story is, I'm going to tell you what happened to me some years ago. This was in my 20s. All right, so I gave my life to Christ quite early as a teenager, and I had always been involved in church, fellowship, in university. Now, fast forward to after school, I had graduated and I was in Lagos. I was serving in a choir of a big church then, and we used to have rehearsals like 3 times a week. And then between work and choir, I did not have a social life. So one particular evening, we came back from rehearsals on a Saturday. I don't know what came over me that day. I was like, I came back, I was tired. I just felt like, hanging out with friends, maybe going to see a movie. I don't know, I was so upset that day. I just came back. And like, God, what kind of life is this? Work, church, work, church. I've been serving since. I don't even have a boyfriend. I don't have this. I don't want to even just, you know, treat me, take me out and all that. So as I was throwing tantrums, now I don't know about you, but I know that some of the things I did back then was silly. But for me, I would like to think that I have a real relationship with God. If I'm feeling this way, I will tell him how I feel instead of behaving like one goody two shoes and just bearing it all in, bottling up frustration. I'm thinking of the prodigal son and his brother. His brother was the goody two shoes. The prodigal son was misbehaving, but the elder brother had everything to his access, but he didn't enjoy himself. He was trying to be a goody two shoes. Anyway, back to my story. So I just went to God. God, I'm tired. I said, God, the next meal, see me threatening God, small me. God, I'm sorry for all the crazy things I used to do then. I'm like, God, the next meal that asks me out, I'm going to go out with the person. I want to, yeah? God, see me that day. Anyway, so after throwing the tantrum, I just sat on my bed, and then we didn't really have, we had cassette tapes, 2000 and 2003. I don't really remember, Sha, but we had cassettes. You understand? I think there were also CDs, but I had cassettes in my room. I had a cassette player. So there were different types of cassettes, brands of cassettes. We had Sony. So I had different Sony cassettes in the room. There was a particular cassette I used to play Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston songs to work on my vocals in the morning, because I was in the choir and I was trying to work on my voice. So I would play their songs and just go up pitch, and everything. So I was like, I beg, I just feel like listening to, in my rebellious mood, I felt like just playing, secular music and just enjoying myself. So I just put on the tape. And then when I put on the tape, the next thing I heard was, and God is reserving you for a godly something, something, something man. So it's as if they poured cold water on me, that all the tantrum just died. Like, did I hear right? Turns out that when I used to come to visit my hometown during the holidays, there was a church the Redeemed Church I used to attend, and I liked, the pastors preaching. So I would buy tapes, I would buy cassette tapes. You understand? So I did not know that because it was sunny. I thought I was putting my Akari to listen to, but I didn't know I had put a message that I had been listening to. And what are the chances that it is that same point that I played the tape? If the tape did not start from the beginning, the tape just continued from, and God is reserving you for. I mean, the pastor must have been talking to a single ladies or something. God is reserving you for a godly something something. But I don't want to mention the other things. It's none of people's business. But that godly and the other things I heard just calmed me down. When I heard that, I'm like, God, are you? So I was not like, okay, if that's the case, no wahala. I'm not going to date the next male, because I was serious. So any unbeliever, anybody that asked me out, I was going to date the person. So after that, because I call it an encounter, because I mean it was so. After that period, the church I used to worship in, I used to follow a sister home. I was living in Surulere. I used to follow a sister home. One particular Wednesday, her car was bad. So when I went to meet her, she was like, ah, me too, I'm not mobile, oh, but let us follow this person. So we now followed one other guy who also lived in Surulere. So when the guy dropped, I think the guy dropped her first, or I can't really remember, Sha. But I now started, we went with him a couple of times, and I now took the guy's number. So I now started, going home with the guy and all that. So we got friendly, we got talking. This guy had recently gotten born again. So he used to really engage me in, ask me questions, and all that. So beyond dropping me, the guy now started, he would just call me, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Okay, let's go out. We'll go out. We'll go and watch movie. We'll go to restaurants. I'm not talking Mr. Biggs, then Ichi, like proper restaurants and everything. I was enjoying myself. I was having fun. And then so it turns out that the guy wanted, because he gave his life to Christ and didn't want to go back to the things he used to do. He considered me godly company. So he liked having me around at his free time. We'll just talk about messages, maybe what pastor preached, and all that. And so for me, it was a win-win situation because I was looking for recreation. Like I was tired of, I just needed to chill. And then this guy was looking for godly company, and we just started hanging out. So after a while, the girl who introduced me to the guy now called me one day. What are you doing with this guy? I said, we're not doing anything, we're just hanging out. Do you know that this guy, she said, do you know that this guy's in a relationship? I was like, seriously? Ah. What helped me was that I wasn't attracted to this guy physically, so I wasn't falling for him. It wasn't a case of the guy was leading me on or anything like that. The only problem is that we did not define things. So when she told me, I was like, so this guy, what if I had fallen for this guy? This is how this guy will be to time me. I now went to him, I confronted him. So the guy was now apologizing that I'm really sorry. Yes, I am in a relationship. The girl is abroad doing her master's or whatever it was. And that I like you because I don't want to go back to the things I used to do. You're a godly company to be around, and blah, blah. So because I wasn't falling for him anyway, it was now like we had defined the terms of what we're doing and everything. So we now had an understanding. Nobody was leading anybody on, and we could continue with our hanging out without any issues. You get, like, platonic friends, no strings attached and all that. So we're good, we're cool. Now, what's my point with the story? My point with the story is that, okay, I think it comes to me now. Let's just say that God is interested in your recreation. For me, this is it looks very insignificant, but I believe that if we are real with God about things, God can be like, okay, you want this? Because for me, I think that God was like, look, you're not ready to meet the person I have for you. And you cannot be, because you are restless, you will not get into a wrong relationship. If you want to be treated nicely, someone should be treating you. And let me just say this, because I know that people will say in the comment section, why didn't you trip yourself? Yes, I was young, I didn't know then, it didn't even occur to me that, I can trip myself, you get, and all that. I could have taken myself out with some other girlfriends and all that. I think I was still struggling then. I didn't have maybe money of my own or whatever. But God made provision for that. So my point is that if God could make provision for my enjoyment, this was a want, not a need. How much more a need? And I'm talking to ladies now who have thoughts, who think they have to compromise their faith for things that they actually need. Let me read a scripture for us. So this scripture is 2 Peter 1 verse 4. It says in the NIV version, through this he has given us his very great and precious promises, so that through them we may participate in the divine nature, having escaped the corruption in the world caused by evil desires. I like to interpret scriptures in a way that makes sense to me, you understand? And the way I interpreted it was that God has made provision. He has made provision for you. He has given you promises in the word that you can hold on to and claim, so that when you are in a time of need, through them you may participate in the divine nature. One of your requirements as a Christian is for you to be holy. You cannot now come and be compromising your faith because you have a need. God has promised that he's your provider. So do you have promises in the word that address that particular area of need that you have? I am giving you this example because, as far as I'm concerned, that was a want. That was not even a need. I mean, if I didn't go watch movies, be treated in restaurants or hanging out, it's not going to change anything. It's not a do or die affair. So I'm saying, if God could provide for that want, how much more something that I needed? Maybe if I needed money to feed, if I needed money for rent, if I needed money to maybe help a relation or whatever, what He would provide. So I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you are or what you're doing, and you're listening to this, and you are at the verge of compromise, or you have been compromising because you feel like, nobody's here to help me. So this guy is giving me what I want and blah 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 and everything. Let me bring you back. Girl, if you call yourself a Christian, God has standards. Instead of you depending on that person that you're depending on, who can disappoint you anytime, why don't you establish a relationship with God where God can be providing for you, meeting you at the point of your need? God may not come the way you want, but God will supply that need according to His riches in glory. So let me just end this story by saying I hope you learned something. God is interested in your recreation. God is interested in your wants. How much more your need? God bless you.